Hello and welcome to another edition of 360 Half Seconds. My name is Kia. I'm with 360 Vet Sales, and with me today is Matt Arena, CEO of 360 Vet Sales. Matt, how's it going?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. So we've been on a little bit of a hiatus
Yep.
from this show, but we're happy to be back, and we have a pretty cool topic ready to go for today. So just really quickly before I get to that topic, I'm just going to explain to everybody how this works. I'm going to give Matt 360 half seconds or 3 minutes essentially to answer my question or questions. So Matt, you ready to do this?
I am.
Okay, time starts as soon as I'm done asking the question. Matt, um, today what I want you to do is please walk me through what a typical sales process looks like for a client.
Okay.
Go.
So the first thing that you got to take into consideration when you're working with a broker like us, or you're trying to go to market, is you got to make sure that you're ready to go to market. I don't want to go too deep into that because I think that's a completely other topic. But what I'll say is you want to make sure that your business is operating as optimally as it can. And you also want to make sure that you have all of your financial statements and accounting in good order, your production reports, revenue mix reports, things of that nature, payroll data. You want to have all that stuff kind of ready. It doesn't mean you can't compile it when you start working with a broker, but before you go to market, you need to have all of that data. Once we know that we're ready to go to market, now we kind of start the clock on the different steps. And the first step is gathering all of the data. We're going to fill out what's called a questionnaire, get all of that information. We want to have photos of the practice. And then what my job to do is I kind of scrub through all the data and kind of package it all together in a nice data room or form location where I can give access to all the individual buyers that we're going to work with so that they can look at the data and start beginning to wrap their brains around what is your practice, how does it function, and start thinking about evaluation.
Matt, have you at this point done the valuation or
Well, I
are
was just
you
getting, yeah. So once we have all of that data, that's when we kind of are at the point where it's like, okay, step one, do the valuation. You want to have a valuation because otherwise you're going to market and you're kind of doing it with a blindfold on. You want to have an idea of what is your practice worth. So I would definitely encourage anyone. We always provide a valuation step one. Um, the
and we do
second,
that complimentary? I think we'll do that
yeah,
as a complimentary
we do.
service for
Correct.
anybody.
The second thing that happens in this process is we got to, like, what I'll do is I'll prepare materials to get ready to go to market so that we can actually go to market. And we run a competitive process. So we're going to go out to an assortment of buyers that are ideal for your practice, your goals, your vision of what you want to do post sale. And so there's a lot of variables that go into it, including location, that really hones in on the buyers that we're going to go to market with. That process is like once we launch going to market, I typically allow anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks from start to deadline for offers to be due. Once we have all of our offers, which come in two forms, either an indication of interest or a letter of intent, those are the two acronyms or words that are used for the term sheet that identify the initial terms of the deal that you're being offered. During that, and I'm trying to go through all the details a little higher or a little bit in higher detail. During that 4 to 6 weeks, what happens is they get all of the data from us. They're going to start asking questions. They're going to want to visit with you. A lot of them will want to come do site visits, see the practice in person if possible, maybe have a Zoom meeting with you to go over questions. And then in the meantime, they're also talking to me, and we're going back and forth on details and valuation and how to. My job is really to try to provide a really good framework for what is the expectation, what are the secret sauce of your practice to get you the best value possible or help achieve all of your goals. So there's
So
a
this is
lot
the
really happening in that. Sorry, go ahead.
you're kind of battling with not battling, but you're kind of going, you're working with your counterpart on the buyer side to
Exactly.
kind of negotiate on your end what you want our clients to get and what
Yes.
you believe that they should be getting.
Yes. And
Evaluate.
and so in that initial part of the process, or the phase one, if you will, there's a lot that's really going on behind the scenes, both from yourself as a seller meeting with buyers and answering questions for me, or me answering questions on your behalf, negotiation, all of these things are happening. So now the next question probably is, well, what happens after that? What's phase two or the next iteration? So once we have all of our offers in, we then, the way I do it is we'll sit down and we'll look at every single offer, go over all the offers, and work through everything necessary to get to a decision of, this is who I'm going to sell my practice to. This is the deal that I like. Provided you select a deal that you like, then we're allowed to basically sign the deal, and then we'll kick off what's called due diligence.
And this is the
Now,
closing period, right?
this is kind of the closing part of the process. Exactly.
We're
So,
over. Just, but I want you to finish your thought here.
so what happens is once we start closing, it's typically somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 90 days. Sometimes it goes a little longer, but I would say 80 to 90 days is probably the pretty normal average in today's market and the way everything's moving. It's a little bit deeper questioning during that period of time. A lot more reports and data, and some refresh data needs to be produced, because on the buyer side, they're doing a lot of financial diligence and analysis to kind of finalize and hone in on their deal. They're also getting to know you a lot better, the seller. They're getting to understand your practice better, your people, because they got to come to you now with employment agreements and all these different things so that you guys all mesh well together on the day of closing, and it's a clean transition or transfer of power, whatever you want to call it. Um, so that's kind of what that period of time looks like. Did you have a question, Kia? Sorry.
No, and that
Okay.
was great. I think, you know, I think, Matt, thanks. That was a great answer. And sorry everybody that we went over, but we thought you probably want to hear exactly how all this works. I think, one of the things that you mentioned is that, they're going to get to know you. And I think that's a really important aspect of all this, is that at the end of the day, it is a partnership. When you sell your practice, you're going to be working with the people that you sell it to for probably 2 to 3 years afterwards. And they want to make sure it's a good fit for them. And you're going to want to make sure it's a good fit for you. And so not only are they doing Zoom calls, but they're going to be come and visit your practice, as Matt said. They might take you out to dinner. And really at that point, they may not even be talking too much about business. They're talking more about, well, how do you think? And, what's the culture like at your practice? Because a lot of the buyers, they're not coming in there to change anything once they buy the practice. They're coming in there because they see you're doing something right, and they want to understand your culture so they can maintain it once they are now operating the practice.
Exactly. And just one little comment for me. This was a very high level overview of the process. There's a lot that goes on in this 4 or 6 month period of time. And I'm with you every step of the way. I help you through every single stage. But this was very high level. There's so many other things that go on. So if you have any particular questions about what happens in this process, either put a comment or let us know. You can reach out and email Kia or I, and we're happy to get on a call, discuss any of this with you, answer any questions you might have.
Yeah. And you took the words right out of my mouth. If you do want to email me, it's Kia, KIA at 360vetsales.com, or you can email Matt at Matthew at 360vetsales.com. And appreciate everybody tuning in this week. And we won't have a hiatus again anytime soon. So
Yeah, we'll be back next week.
we'll be back next. So thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone.